Good morning, everybody. It's Martha again. I haven't made a video in quite a while. Today I'm going to demonstrate how I apply my foundation. Now I already have my makeup on, so I'm just kind of going through the motions. Mornings are so hectic for me that I really don't have time to sit down and film the actual putting on a foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and just go through the motions and tell you how I do it. Now I always start off with, of course, a clean face. I have used a moisturizer and let that set. Then I always use a good primer. Right now I have been using and loving Sheer Envy Hydra Primer Lotion by Hard Candy. I really like this. This is a very moisturizing primer. If you happen to have oilier skin, you may want to use something else, but if you have dry or normal to dry skin, I think you might like this. It's the Hydra Primer by Hard Candy. It's very, very nice. It's just kind of a clear lotion, and it applies really smoothly, and it does really give you a nice moisturizing base for your foundation. Now after I have let my primer set for just a few seconds, I go ahead and get ready for my foundation. I like to use a foundation or a flat top brush. You can use whatever brush or application method or tool that you prefer, but I find a flat top brush really works well for me. This one is from e.l.f. and it's actually called a powder brush, but I really like to use these flat tops. I have another flat top brush from Wet n Wild that's a little more denser packed bristles than this, and I use it quite a bit, but it's drying because it got washed earlier, and so I thought I would just use this one. What I do is I take the foundation I'm going to use for demonstration. I'm going to use the Amazonian Clay foundation by Tarte, and I take a little bit of it and I apply it to the top of my hand. Just a little bit. You can always add a little more if you need it, but you can't always scoop it back in the tube or bottle. I put it on the top of my hand just to kind of warm it up. Then I take my brush and get it in the brush, and then I just kind of tap it all around, and then I buff it in by using round buffing type of motion. Now I always pull my hair back with a hairband, but you want to make sure you get that foundation up into the hairline, not in the hair, but right up to the hairline, a little bit on the ears, and always bring it down the chin and down the neck, because you don't want that harsh line, where your makeup stops and your skin starts. After you get that all worked in, I even go over my eyes a little bit because that can give you a nice little bit of a base to keep your eyeshadow fresh. After that's all worked in and you have it all blended nicely, I then go for my color corrector and my concealer. I use the color corrector and concealer from Sephora, and I just dot this on under the eye. Use the color corrector first. I take a setting spray, and I love again from Hard Candy, the Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer Mist. Now this says it's a primer, but it works well as a setting spray too. Hard Candy also has a regular setting spray. I take a beauty blender or a soft makeup sponge like this. This one is from Real Techniques. It's only like $5 or $6 at Walmart. And I just give it a spritz or two with this primer spray or setting spray, and then I tap that color corrector right in under my eyes until it's blended out. Then after that has a chance to set a little bit, I do the same thing with my concealer. And again, this is from Sephora. I use a shade a little bit lighter than my foundation. Not too light, just one shade lighter. Make sure my Beauty Blender is still damp from the spray. If not, give it another spritz and then go back over again. I even add a little bit of the concealer around my lips to kind of help give it a nice outline for my lip color, and it also helps the lip color, keeps it from bleeding, and you just kind of work that in too. Anywhere else that you might need a bit of concealing, like if you have a blemish or something, a little bit of that concealer and then just dab it in. Now, sometimes I do this, I usually do. I get a nice little spritz of the primer mist, just spritz it all over the face, just a little, not a lot, and then press all over with your Beauty Blender and get that pressed in. Now my Beauty Blender will still be damp, so what I do with powder, and I love the Besame loose brightening powder. This is in the shade Vanilla Rose, and it's a loose powder, but it does come with a puff. What I do is I just open up the little case and I shake a little bit of the powder into the lid and take the end of it, the Beauty Blender, it's damp, and press it in under my eyes to set that concealer. And I still have quite a bit left in the tray or the little lid, so I take a nice fluffy brush. I use a kabuki brush. This is from e.l.f. You can use just a fluffy powder brush or any type of a face powder brush that you like. You could even use the little pad that comes with it, and I just put the rest of it on my my brush or whatever I'm using. Just kind of tapping it in. Everywhere. So I just set that makeup. And there it goes. If you have a little bit extra in the lid, you can just kind of tap it back into the tray because it has a sifter. And then that way you don't waste any. And then you're good to go with the little thing like this. You can also use any kind of powder that you like. I like the Besame powders. A lot of people like to use Airspun by Coty. It's a loose powder. Whatever powder is your favorite, that's fine to use. Now, one more step here is to spritz the face again with the setting spray or primer spray and press all that product into the skin all over. You don't want to saturate your face, but you just want to give it a light mist. Alright, that's how I apply my my base of my makeup, my primer, my foundation, color corrector, concealer, and face powder. It might take a little extra time to have those extra steps, but I really find that it gives a good base. It seems to keep my skin, my foundation, fresh. It makes it last longer. And I've noticed also if I seem to have a little dryness, if my foundation is a little more on the drying side, if I have applied a little too much, if my makeup is looking a little cakey, I find that using this hydrating primer, setting spray, and pressing it in with the beauty sponge, Beauty Blender, I find that really takes away some of that dry cakiness. Sometimes that happens, especially if your makeup is a little too dry, or if you had a little bit of a heavier hand. This kind of doing this with the primer spray really does kind of help that. All right, everybody, that is how I do my foundation. I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'll be doing more videos soon. Everybody have a wonderful, blessed day. Remember, Jesus loves you. I do too. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.